following message is being transmitted at the request of the Boundless PodTrap movie review and the guys of the BPT. What you are about to hear contains spoilers to movies. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, please disengage your listening device at this time. If you can't handle those with a possible differing view on a movie, you may also want to disengage your listening device at this time. Stay tuned for a movie review that only the guys at the Boundless PodTrap can give you.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Welcome back, everybody. I would like to say, you know what time it is, but that's one of the things that I can't stand, especially like in today's music. Like
You know what time it is?
No, I don't know what time it is.
Almost like
I have to look at my clock.
It is 6:35.
it's almost like what's happening.
What's happening? See that gets you going.
I went back and started listening to our very first episodes, and you literally said, "What's happening?" on the very first episode.
What's happening?
What's happening?
I think he said that when he came out of his mom's womb.
popped
Yeah.
out, popped
I'm like,
out the
"What's
pussy,
happening?"
popped out the pussy, saying, "What's happening?"
Eating
When
a
I was in the delivery,
Clove of garlic.
when I was receiving birth from my mom, because she gave it to me and I received it. So and they're like, one more push.
John's
And then I was
face
like,
exactly.
Oops. They had to pick me up off the ground. Hike. Anyways,
Well, your heads look the same.
We're trying to get all the funnies out because this movie is gonna have none of it.
yes.
That's true.
There's a little bit of humor in this.
True.
Isn't there?
You sound like Peter Griffin.
Thank you. You peaked a little bit.
Sorry.
No, John peaked in high school.
Not
Probably.
even.
I would say middle. You look like a
Fourth grade.
full bore. Whatever. Anyways, let's get on to this movie
I
review.
like the beard,
thing.
by the way.
Thank you. It's going to be off in a bit.
Nope.
I'm filming
Keep
a
it,
movie.
you stupid son of a
By the
bitch.
time this is released, I might already not. Oh, no. I have another week. Never mind.
Jeremy's beard grew another beard.
It looks the same to me. I see it every day.
I know, same. Everybody's like, yours is getting long. I'm like,
Mine's basically down to almost my nipples.
Nice.
you look like Jay White, Jay Briscoe.
Your nipples are probably one of the best things I like about you.
Wow.
R.I.P.
Wow.
No, he does. He's got
You
the
look
same
like Jay
beard as the
Briscoe. Really
You look like Jay.
skinny at this point.
I don't look like Brody King anymore.
We'll bring it back.
Always look like Brody King,
Brody King's stupid.
minus all the cool parts.
With the Boundless PodTrap movie review episode, we try to save a lot of the other stuff. We get a little bit here and there, but we're going to bring it back to this movie. You guys have not heard about this movie?
No.
No? All right.
No,
I did.
surprisingly, I didn't.
I did, and
I remember around the time that the incidents were happening. So the listeners here are going to get a movie review and a coverage of
a history lesson.
Yes. I guess when it comes to like the certain ratings, before we get into the ratings, let me just go ahead and introduce the movie. This movie review episode 27, we are going to be doing 2012's Compliance.
I think we should hire somebody to just do like the sound board.
Probably. What's wrong?
2012's crickets.
Well, I had to bring it down to like enter us into, because the music was going, and then I forgot to put it back up.
Okay, let's just
Slider.
we did it wrong twice. Let's just roll with it.
It was right the second time, third time, whatever.
True.
Sure, if you want. What was that? And then people get up to their speaker, they get their fucking brains blown.
Doesn't even matter. Levels are going to be.
Talk about
it.
that.
Doesn't peak after I
That peaked
run it
up
through.
to the roof.
Oh, in live, but after it's mastered.
So enlighten the listeners on what this movie is.
This movie is
It's not about penguins.
penguins.
This movie. Let me bring this up real quick to get some names here.
Prepared for this, by the way.
Yeah, I just got in here. So it's a movie directed and written and directed by Craig Zobel. The Internet Movie Database says a normal Friday service at a fast food restaurant becomes interrupted by a police officer who claims an employee stole from a customer, but something more sinister is going on. I would pretty much say relatively the same thing. This movie operates on a lot of balance, and I will be using this a little bit more as we proceed into the breakdown of this. But you kind of see certain acts or human acts that most people, I guess, with a good judgment wouldn't necessarily believe. Yeah, or do or whatever. But this is actually pretty common. Well, not, I guess this incident isn't very common, but people do stupid things for stupid reasons. As long as you can kind of control them in a sense, assert some sort of power over them, you can make people do anything you want with a little bit of suggestion.
Apparently.
But yes, so a person working at a fast food restaurant is pretty much blamed of something that she did not do, and shit gets pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Have any of you guys ever worked at a fast food restaurant?
I've never done food service.
Never done. How about you, Joe?
I've always done a man job.
Not necessarily fast food, but restaurants. Fazoli's I worked at for 6 weeks.
I've worked at a bowling alley and I've worked at a movie theater, but both in like management positions. So I've filled in, but I've never like had the responsibility of it. What about you?
I've had this responsibility of
He serves popcorn.
all this.
I've never been in like food services, but I am management.
Yeah.
So can kind of relate a little bit to the character of Sandra.
Yeah, so we can put ourselves in the position of Sandra, but not the position of Becky.
No.
Justin, you're just shit out of luck. You can't relate to this at all. You can relate to like the husband in this.
I was the security guard.
Or he could so you can relate to Officer Daniels.
Yes.
Officer Daniels. Yeah.
Officer Daniels.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and give some ratings. So I kind of also led with the caveat last time as far as rate this for what it does.
Yeah.
Because like when I watch a comedy movie, I rate it for how it is comedically. If I watch a scary movie, I rate it for how it is with the frights. If I watch something that is more of a true story, I base it on how accurate it is. For me, I think that this film was pretty much 1% or maybe 0.5% off of its accuracy. It was almost 100% accurate.
Right.
If you actually, I watched some of the videos as far as what this actual story is about, some of the actual footage that was in the security cam, some of the interviews and all that. I'm like, wow, that's what I just watched in this movie. It's perfect. It's spot on. And the way that they filmed this, it was beautifully captured. It's supposed to be pretty much a low budget film. Let's see.
Should have been.
That was like 250,000.
Yeah. It's also kind of, crime, drama, history, thriller.
And most of that was when the freezer.
I think
broken.
I would kind of consider this.
Yeah, 270. 270 and made $16,500 on its opening weekend.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely put this up in the thriller category. It has a sense of fear to it. But for my rating overall, I'll get further into it later. But I'm going to give this a 10.
10. Wow. Okay.
10. A 10.
10. Motherfucking 10.
You guys and your 10s that you just hand out so
This is my my second 10 I've ever gave.
you just held up one finger.
My very second 10.
Very second 10.
I've only given
It's not Jeremy.
movies in my life a
Jeremy's
10.
handing out 10s all the time.
I feel like Jeremy has more 10s, doesn't he?
I gave one
gotta
10,
look.
and that was One Cut of the Dead.
And Pulp Fiction.
I didn't give Pulp Fiction a 10.
You should have. Pulp Fiction was a masterpiece.
I didn't give it a 10. It's like a 9 or 9.5.
A niner? Did I get a niner?
Did I get a niner in there? I'll go ahead and go next. So, yeah, this movie was supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you went in watching this movie with the family or sitting down with a group of the bros, this was not the movie to watch. But from the perspective of someone who likes disturbing movies or likes movies that are there to push your boundaries or to make you feel uncomfortable, to make you feel your feelings, this movie definitely did it. But in the same sense, knowing what I was getting myself into and knowing the source material from actually knowing what was going on and knowing what happened in the past and whatnot. Yes, the movie was uncomfortable and whatnot, but watching it from the perspective of someone who was kind of not desensitized, but from the point of view of like, there's nothing in this movie that necessarily made me feel uncomfortable to the point where I have it.
Right. Like you're the type of person who won't look away from Two Girls, One Cup.
Right.
It's just like, okay, I know what this is.
What about One Guy, One Jar?
That too. Ouchies.
You mean Tuesdays?
Or Mr. Hands.
I was able to see the performance of the people in this movie. And when you're able to do that, you can realize how terrible some of the acting in this movie was. Like just how the people who played the roles in this movie were so horribly cast. And I know they're cast in this movie to play a particular person, and I think they did that very well. And I know when you're playing an event-based movie, you want to stick very true to that event-based movie, but when you're watching a movie for enjoyment, and this movie isn't made for enjoyment. I just want to get that out of the way. But when you're watching a movie for the enjoyment of it and you see acting like this, it's bad. But that being said, this movie isn't made to be watched for enjoyment. That's my critique from someone who was watching this movie for enjoyment. Like, to me, I watched this movie as this is going to be a fucked up movie, but I like fucked up movies. So that being said, there was a suspense to it. I was able to suspend my disbelief and actually just live in the moment and go, how are these people this fucking dumb? And I was able to fall in love with fucking Marty. Like, Marty was the best. Like, I want to have a school full of Martys. And I was able to hate Kevin. And I wanted to punch the supplier in the head.
The supplier was the one who set the whole stage.
Right.
He could have.
I was like,
he tried.
Sandra was going to have a great day, but that fucking supplier. But all in all, I'm bringing it back, boys. It did what it needed to do. It fucked with people's emotions, and it had fucking Rose McGowan's identical
Spit out a
twin in
rating
it.
already.
No.
Jesus.
I give it a
We're
7.
gonna get into it in a second.
I give it a 7. I give it a 7 for Rose McGowan's twins tits.
One more time.
There it is. I can't do like a burn with the twinkles.
Play
there.
me out.
I do. There are things, and I do want to get further into a conversation after you guys give your ratings too. But
That's usually what happens.
We don't have time. We don't have time. I took all that time.
But I don't know. I thought the acting was actually pretty decent because of the nervous.
Then you're wrong.
But I think to each their own. So go ahead, germs.
Okay. So, call me stupid, but
Hey, stupid.
I knew it. I didn't know this was based on a true story. I don't remember this being in the news. I'm not a big person to watch the news just because I feel like it's just all killings and stuff like that.
Oh, before you go further on that.
God damn it. He got to talk for like 3 hours without interruption.
So we had a conversation after the last podcast, a little bit about this, that it was more on a true story when I think we only sent you the name of what it was.
Yes, I had no.
So
You would have knew if you would listen to the fucking podcast.
I was here when we recorded. I don't need
No,
to
you
listen to
weren't.
it.
You weren't here when we recorded that one.
You guys filled me in enough, I guess, except for the fact that this was a true story.
So you didn't, when you actually, after you finished it, you didn't know.
God, guys, talk for fucking ever.
Okay.
Get on with it.
So yes, I went into this and I pushed play, and I guess I missed the beginning part where it said based on a true story. So I was watching this whole movie thinking it was just something that was written by somebody and they came up with the whole thing. And we'll get into it mostly, but this movie gave me a roller coaster of emotions watching it. Because like I've always said, when I start a movie, it starts at a 5. And as it goes on, if it's like after a certain amount of time it sucks, I take points away based on how bad it sucks. Or if it's good, I add points and whatnot. I had a very, 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 very low rating for this movie after I got done watching it, before I found out it was based on true events. Once I found out this is based on true events, it changed my whole philosophy. I went back and watched a couple of parts over again after that. And I'm in the middle with the acting and the actors. At times I was like, oh, this is terrible. Then the other time I think this is exactly what was meant to happen with this character and whatnot. So based on that and the fact that this movie just was so up and down for me and it just kept me engaged the whole time, I ended up giving this thing a 6.5.
So high up there. Jonathan?
So, I had some knowledge of this movie, and I'll get into how I knew that here in a second. But as a person who's managed a bank and a grocery store and a department store and a restaurant, I couldn't fathom how stupid some of these people were.
Exactly.
Like, we've had people try to scam places I've worked before. Like, you know, I've had a call saying it was a cop, and I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna have to come in here because I don't believe you. You know, there's common sense in the world, and I didn't realize. I knew of this story. I didn't know it happened 70 times throughout the United States. Like, this is
not this exact. It didn't go to the extent.
Exactly. But like this, the
prank call.
People are fucking stupid. It just boggles my mind. But as for a movie itself, I'm docking points because the director literally wrote it like it happened.
Right.
He didn't do anything. He took a story and put it in script form.
Right.
Almost word for word. And so I'm on the fence again with the acting. I think Marty's character was a terrible actor. I think some of the, like Van, I feel like his acting was really good. And then like the next scene was really bad, you know?
He was the character I hated most.
Well, he like, and we'll get into the he's literally the only person that got arrested in this whole situation.
Yeah.
Like
He's
in real
the one who
life,
actually did time and all that.
I wonder why.
He put his dick in her mouth or whatever. But I enjoyed it and I was into it, and it enacted a reaction. I can't even talk. It got me to react. Like, I'm literally yelling at the TV. I'm like, you fucking stupid, you know? And so for a movie to do that, I will give it more points. So I give it a 7.
That gives us a BPT rating of 8. So I kind of want to touch on some of your guys. A 10. Yeah, hell yeah. No, I was able to look back because of, like I said, going back the nervosity or whatever. I think I just made that word up, but like how nervous the people are. This is a smaller town. Some of the stuff that is like, it's so obvious for people like us who live in, who have more interactions. These are younger people, are supposed to be younger people who don't have those life experiences, who are a little bit more susceptible to authority, to, you know, like nothing probably happens in this sort of town. Actually, I wrote it down as far as where it actually happened, but we'll get to that later.
Mount Washington, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
There's no
McDonald's in Mount
There's
Washington,
no
Kentucky.
chicken restaurant that does nearly that much business.
Well, it's supposed to be a McDonald's,
That's what I was
but
gonna say.
McDonald's wouldn't give the rights to,
Well, yeah, why would they?
Going off of to your point, John, like saying that it pretty much put the events into script form. That I did like that, but I also don't like sometimes when certain things take their liberties and try to go outside of it. I'm like, well, that's not, you know, that loses points for me sometimes. But I think it just depends on how you tell the story.
Right.
And this is sort of the discussion I would kind of want to go in deeper. I don't know if we want to go into it right now or save it for the actual podcast, but so many times, and if you look into the comments of movies like this, you know, the ratings, they're like, this is one of those movies that didn't need to be made. You know, you don't need to tell this story. It's like, well, this is somebody's trauma. This is events similar to something like this. At least the severity of the trauma happens day to day. To say like it doesn't need to happen, yeah, probably any movie doesn't need to be made.
Right.
But it's
This also puts out awareness of something that was happening clearly a lot, 70 times.
not just an awareness, but if you want to call it entertainment, it is art. It is still art. It was well done. And that's,
it's art subjective. Like someone is going to enjoy it. Like I said, I sat down with the idea that I'm watching a disturbing movie and I'm watching it to be disturbed. Like I'm watching it to watch someone's art form that I know is made to make you uncomfortable.
right. And just because it's sensitive does not mean that it doesn't need to be told is the main thing I'm getting at. So there's so many people who try to be gatekeepers of stuff like that. And it's like, it's still art. I have artists. We just had a conversation just over the weekend with another film crew. And it's like, yeah, this person makes movies like this. And we've had the same conversation about the same person. It's like, yeah, it's not our style, but I want them to have their corner and keep doing that. You are reaching a niche. It's not reaching me, but keep doing it.
Well, I mean, like, look at burlesque dancers. I
will.
Yeah. I can name 100 burlesque dancers that get shit on a daily basis, but I can also name 5,000 people who love to go watch them. Like, it's a certain niche market that only certain people like.
Go.
Oh, that'd be a completely
5,000?
I think what made me, once I found out it was based on true story, what made me upset was character of Sandra, because she seemed like the most level-headed person and a very good manager in my mind, the way she took control of things and whatnot.
But she didn't.
She was the easiest manipulated and brainwashed.
Well, exactly. That's what makes, like, it's just like, how could somebody, being a manager, if I was put in her shoes, where somebody called, saying that one of my employees stole something. They were the police, blah, 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 blah. First thing I would be, no matter what they said, even if there's like, well, you're going to go to prison too. I'd be like, I know the laws. You need to have an actual police officer come here. I need to see a police car. I need to see a badge. I need to see, I wouldn't just like, if the person's just like, well, I am the law and you could get in trouble.
Yeah,
that's not going to scare
But she's
me.
already starting the day off with pressure. She already has that pressure kind of coming to it. Going into it, like I said,
that freezer went out and really just put her in.
Yeah.
And no
not
bacon,
only that,
no pickles.
she just got cussed out by Matt Servito's character, the supplier. He's like, yeah, you're fucked with bacon, I'll tell you that. And that's pretty much the only thing they didn't have this entire time is
suppliers are assholes. Like
no, not I'm just bacon. They didn't have the cops. They didn't, she had an assumption that the cops was.
I get it. It's like a metaphor.
It is. It started off like that.
Mouth right now.
They opened it up.
Well, you got to think about it too. Like we're sitting here in 2023 saying, "Oh, I wouldn't trust him. I would do this to the cops and this." We got to think this was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
How much the world has changed in 11 years.
Well,
That,
longer
like,
than that.
Well,
The movie was 11 years ago,
right. But how much the world has changed in the fact that someone was just, oh, you're the cops. Like how someone could just call. And it happened this many times that the world was just, you're the police. I trust you with everything. Now it's like, I could see a cop in front of me with a badge and whatnot. I'm like, are you a cop? Prove it to me. Like, are you a cop?
But even so, this person on the phone, like, when did this happen?
I want to say 99
Okay.
or 2001 or something like that.
Even if you were convinced that the person on the phone was
2004.
a police officer,
April 9th.
the way this guy is saying things, like, especially to Van, have her bounce up and down for you, have her
do
her
jumping
boobs,
jacks,
do
and
jumping
bend over and
jacks
grab her heels,
and then
call you sir.
Have her call you sir. That was the first thing he said to him was like, have her call you sir. That right there is a big red flag. Like, this is a fucking pervert on the other end of this phone.
Yeah.
And
but he was also
He was
pressured
also
too.
intoxicated.
He was
drunk,
intoxicated,
yeah.
also easier to kind of suggest.
I think you guys are giving him.
He's also looking at a naked 20-something-year-old who's very attractive.
Well, he doesn't want to, though. He didn't want to do the whole thing.
But yet he's like,
want to.
I'm going to believe this cop when he says, all right, we're going to have her take care of you after this is all said and done. It's like, if I'm on the phone with somebody that's saying they're the cops and it's like, well, the suspect is going to suck your dick. Like, okay,
was
right then and there, that's like, okay, well, I could turn this police officer in and things could end badly for him. I don't know. It's just, that's why watching this, my original rating was a 2.5.
Nice.
Because I thought that this was just something that somebody wrote, and I'm like, there are not people in this world that naive to believe
Yes,
this
there
bullshit.
is.
It's a
Sadly.
McDonald's, and I don't want to say like blanket this too much, but like, yeah,
Show
it's
me
a
your
McDonald's.
McNuggets.
It's a first job in the movie. It's a chicken something, whatever.
Chicken witch or something.
Chicken
like that.
witch.
It's like
Witch,
a
yeah.
movies.
Yeah. Chick
No,
witch.
movies
Don't
is
you
cool.
shit on movies like
Movies
that.
is awesome. If you shit on movies, I will shit out. Have you swallow my
I
shit.
just said it-
Shit on your shit.
That's what it reminded me of. Like, I was expecting to see
There can only be one.
Dante.
But no, I mean, like, this movie has balls, and fuck, going back to what
We
you were
almost
just
saw him,
saying.
too.
Yeah, Van, like, he was in a suggestive state, and that's what Officer Daniels kept on doing, is like, he will put a little bit of pressure and then give you that little nugget of that side of advancement, like, you're doing well. Don't you want that? Like, you assert your authority. Like, you're doing awesome. But yeah, no, I want to go back to like the opening of this. This is one of the parts that really grabbed me in because, like I said, this movie has balls and it's working on a sort of balance. So it has like a very beautiful opening with a natural order of chaos and
Can
stuff.
I just say before you get going, the opening with the music, the song choice that picked, I was like, this movie's going to suck ass because the song reminded me of a local independently shot song that you just like, it was the first song you found on the first royalty-free website. And I'm like, man, this is going to suck. But once it ended and she had her little encounter with the distribution guy, I was like, wow, this is kind of intense. So anyways, go ahead.
But yeah. So the natural order and chaos of things, you got the little snowy environment with the great balance of things, the up and down street arrows kind of giving you like choices and stuff, the rusted parking poles and solid walls, the upside down cart in the snow next to a dry tree in the parking lot. You got the curved lines near the straight lines painted in the parking lot. And then it ends with an underlined word of no, as in no parking before the manager, Sandra, played by Ann Dowd. She gives the first line of the movie. But I give more emboldenment with the perfect balance of choice. It's this or that. Everything seems to be a hint of warning before it's spelled out. No. So yeah, Matt Servito's character, when he's talking about like the bacon, he gives her that sort of like uneasy feeling, and she doesn't want to call her manager just yet. She wants to see if she can handle things and actually lead, because not only is her position as her managerial position is under a spotlight, but she's also under the spotlight of trying to be wed or marriage or girlfriend, whatever, fiance. Yeah. It's like she thinks she's further where she actually is, but she's getting that comfort from, so some of her employees are saying so to her face, but then outside of, they're like kind of talking like, oh, she thinks she's cool. She's want to be, or having the conversations, these young conversations. But more on the display of choices. So Becky's driving to work, looking back and forth into her rearview mirror, forward and backwards, with zebra print dice hanging from her mirror. That's the black and white, this or that. Dire symbols are tools of luck and choices. So I saw like a lot of this kind of starting off, and like at any time you can just say no. You can just kind of back off, but they weren't doing so. So our first introduction to supposed Officer Daniels, he's played by Pat Healy. He is on the payphone and screams.
He's creepy.
Yeah, he screams like, "Sir!" He's like, "Sir!" like really loudly.
Yeah, I liked his character.
I assume he was just
his acting,
getting info, maybe checking into regional manager positions and stuff like that. So like, it's so easy to just get online and check a name or look through a phone book, and it's like, who is managing this corporate office or this location? It's like they post those that way. If you are meeting somebody and then you address them by their name, you will probably feel a little bit more respected. Like, oh, okay, they remember my name. Like, it seems a little bit more, and especially if they're starting off as though like they are an assumed authoritative figure, that pressure of like, oh shit, what did I do? What did I do? Without even trying to verify, because in the event that it is somebody serious, and again, these are impressionable minds, probably low income, first jobs, young, So the song that you were talking about, I believe that was the opening one. It's called The Unlucky Ones by the Admiral Twin. It's playing around the opening when they are stocking the burger joint. Very fitting. So the unlucky ones. Keep going. Any thoughts?
Well, you're watching Becky's descent into, she comes in happiness, kind of having that girl talk emotional team building with Marty at the beginning when they're standing behind the counter talking about all her boyfriends and all that. And then Sandra tries to, be part of the group and kind of get shunned away. So you can kind of tell there's a little bit of animosity between them to begin with.
I don't know if animosity is the right word, at least what I saw. But
a little bit of
it's
cattiness,
unnerving,
maybiness. Yeah. But you kind of feel at that point that there's going to be sides taken.
Right.
And her main fear is, with the refrigerator being left open, that it's going to be pinned on Becky. And then it gets so much worse from there. And you kind of feel that might be the catalyst of why Sandra might be doing what she's doing, maybe to get a little revenge on her. And it kind of fluctuates through that. Like, you feel like maybe that's where it starts. Maybe that's why the floodgates were opened a little bit at the beginning, how maybe it began.
I feel like she didn't really believe the allegations too, but she was just trying to do what is expected of her.
Well, yeah, and like, she's already in the doghouse, and then the regional manager's name was
brought up.
And
that was kind of one of those special power plays, because
right.
Like, think of how you've entered certain situations or conversations, and like, even if it's out of your element, especially if it's out of your element, you're not familiar with certain people, like, depending on how you approach the situation, your mannerisms, how you look, how comfortable you feel, like, do you own the room or are you still trying to fill it out? Like,
all right.
That speaks volumes. People unconsciously read each other's body language. Body language is loud as fuck. People don't understand it.
Right. And in most opportunities you see with Sandra, she is a weak character who is trying to bully those who are weaker than her. Like,
right.
Van walks over her in the conversation where he's like, I'm going to go get drunk with my friend.
I don't know. He seems like he seems trying to
pussy.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
is it okay?
He was, but she instantly caved. when he's like, I'm going to go drink on the porch. And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, I'm just going to go drink. And she's like, well,
No,
okay.
that's not how that went down.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. She was
wasn't.
like, you don't have to ask me. That's
Yeah.
fine.
She was trying to be cordial with him, like.
Well, she just said all night. It was like he was going to go there all night. She's like, no, just while you're at work. And he's like, okay. I mean, I could see it both ways. I don't know. I felt like
And
they had
then-
a good communication
Well,
skills.
and she got shit on all over because of the supplier. And what's the
Yeah, well-
first thing she does? She goes and takes it out on the kids.
Barely. I mean,
Well,
like,
Barely.
barely.
She has to
wasn't,
step
like,
it up and
hounding
be a
him.
manager.
She is a pushover, and that's why
Dude,
she
I've
got
had managers,
pushover.
including myself,
Exactly.
be way more
she's,
of a dick
She's
than
a
that.
pushover. So what she do? She takes that out on the kids.
And then she says sexting.
So she gets the opportunity, and then the cop comes and be's authoritative on her.
cop.
And bees.
Yeah. Officer
And- okay.
Officer Daniels.
So
Fuck
the,
you, by the way.
Officer Daniels, or supposed Officer Daniels, in real life is an actual security guard. So he knows how to use his power or like assert his power,
Right. So what? Of course she's gonna flail.
or at least a perceptive of
Freak
powers,
out.
perception.
Of course, gonna make Rose McGowan's copy.
Excuse me. And it's really easy to catch somebody off guard, especially if you're trying to assert that. If you're trying to control the situation, and he was in stern manner, pretty much giving directions and trying to be clear and concise and stuff. And he fished for the region manager's name, and then he didn't actually have Becky's name.
No, he just said
He
the blonde girl.
fit-
with
Said
the
Becky, okay, we have Rebecca.
Yeah, he fished. He's like the girl at the front counter, and then Sandra gave the name.
Yeah.
And then there was an argument or some sort of conversation between Becky and Sandra, and she's
How
like,
psychics
well, how did
work,
you,
too.
he called you by name. No, you gave him the name. So he used that name. So
I noticed that right away too. I was like, because he's like, yep, we have Rebecca down.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and
oh yeah, nice.
she started
Nice
off
way
the
to cover
morning.
that there.
She started off the morning with everything fucked up. She didn't have the onions, the bacon, all that. The freezer,
Pickles.
the fridge was out. The freezer was out. So
fucked without the bacon.
she's
I know that.
trying to figure out how to
Well, they
fix
had
the
some
problem.
bacon. You can only put two
Only
on the
2
sandwich.
strips of bacon.
Yeah, she was trying to figure out the
pickles.
problem.
Quality
and-
control could be.
Then that guy had mayo all over his sandwich. Gross.
Ugh. Ugh.
Southwestern.
divide it all
I
up.
said no mayo.
Got quiet.
Yeah, sorry. Lost my train of thought there. But
Sorry, we're yelling about mayo over here.
but she was kind of in like a state of shock, like trying to fix the pieces. Her job would have been to contact the regional manager, but he was sick that day too, and he was never even on the phone.
Nope.
Isn't it crazy? The one person who like saves the day is the town drunk.
Right.
Van?
No,
No,
Harold.
The janitor?
Yeah, the guy that comes
Harold?
in.
Harold. He's like,
Harold.
I need you to check her. I ain't fucking doing that.
Yeah, I thought, okay, this guy's gonna get his jollies off. Like,
Yeah, I thought he was
he's
going to
be
nut right in
fucking
her
her.
eyeball.
Comes in. There's a naked fucking bitch back there.
Look at the nipples on her. Look like Hershey Kisses.
Yeah, this
She
kind
is
of,
already wet.
it is kind of weird that he is the one that saved the day. Like,
Well, the one kid was basically trying to save the day. He's like, this is fucking stupid. Like, you need to.
So before I knew this was a true story, I thought Kevin, his name is Kevin, right? Yeah, Kevin. I thought he, not knowing what this was going to be about, I thought he was in on it with whoever was on the phone because when Sandra came walking by after they had to take her to the back office, Becky, and he's just like, look, she didn't do it. I thought he was going to say she didn't do it, like she didn't steal. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, she never said anything about that. But then he said it wasn't her with the freezer door or whatever it was. But I was going with the fact that he was in on it until he went in the back room. And then he's telling him over the phone, like, you need to get her naked, take the apron away from her and stuff like that. And I was shocked with that character because it looked like they were flirting a lot. And
Yeah,
I thought,
I thought
okay,
they were,
he's,
like,
he's going to be
into
staring
it,
at her
yeah.
boobs this whole time. He's going to,
He's a respectful young boy.
he turned out
That's
to
your
be.
average boy, a really respectful, average, everyday guy.
That was me.
That was me too.
You were,
I was more
you were
like-
the one naked in the chair.
That's
I was more
facts.
like Becky.
Facts.
He'll be like,
I was the one on the
he'll be like,
phone.
Can I take off my clothes and put an apron on too?
Yeah.
So comfortable.
Can I put my clothes in your car? That's where I was like.
Yeah, put your clothes in the car.
So there was a constant back and forth. Officer Daniels has this skill. He's probably equipped being in security and working with police officers and stuff, but how to gauge people's, where they fall off, like you pretty much give them a bit of confidence here and there. So you press down on like the severity of the situation.
Yeah, and then praise them for how they're handling it and
so
stuff
you
like that, yeah.
you keep on anchoring that fear and then say, no, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Give 'em
Give
a
them a little
treat.
bit more
Give 'em a
fear.
treat.
Yeah. So he kept on doing that the whole time.
And he's really good at fishing. Like when he was like, hasn't a member of your family been in trouble with the law?
Yes.
You know,
that's how he got
like, my brother. He's like, exactly, your brother. You know, we were at his house, right? You know.
But that and fuck, what was the other point I had?
Sorry.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
Speaking of points, let's go back to those nipples.
Oh yeah, the
I'm
apron.
a fan of ghost nipples. I'm just gonna
No,
say.
I didn't say there's nothing wrong with that. Little Hershey kisses right now.
You know, just side thing. Since we're talking about nipple preferences, I'm not a fan. Like boobs are great. Don't get me wrong, but in the great boob butt debate, like boobs, butts, yeah, whatever. I'm a nipple fan. Does that make sense?
Okay. Like, what about like?
I think nipple pasties.
As I'm eating grapes.
I think nipple pasties were created just to spite me. Like they'll let the whole
That's how I
fucking
feel
boob.
about skirts.
They'll let the whole boob hang out, but they'll cover up the part I enjoy, and I don't think it's right.
Like Mandy Rose's content. She's just like, hey,
Yeah, fucking. It's like, man, why can't they cover up all the boob and just let the nipple hang?
So you
out?
like nipples
fit
like
in the
this
skirts,
size?
free the nipple.
No, not that. Like the areola and nipple combined, like the whole.
What about
cash
the
and
ones
prizes.
in Varsity Blues?
Yeah.
What about that teachers that are like this long? Looks like
I
those
mean,
erasers that you click
there's
up and make it
excessive.
longer.
Like I don't want a nipple the size of my cock.
I can see the pressure building up in Justin. He's like, I got so many notes to read, and you're talking about
Only
nipples.
80 more. No. So yeah, again, going back to Officer
No, this
Daniels,
is revenge for the last podcast. You making me miss McDonald's, motherfucker.
I bought. You want some fries?
You want some fries with
In
that?
your Taco Bell bag, my mind is still broken.
That's how.
And
I
that was
got it.
before he got here. I don't want a green one. Sorry.
So, yeah,
Continue.
Becky, she doesn't want to get in trouble, so she kind of complies with it, and she goes into the back room. The apron that she was given was actually just like a half apron, not the full apron that they showed in the movie.
Yeah.
So they gave it a little bit more modesty, even though at the very end, well,
So it was
get to
like
still
her
see it.
boobs are covered, but she still had like
Real tasteful. No bush.
push on display.
yes.
Oh, I guess
Not a picture of
I
your
guess she
fucking
did say.
mother.
I guess she did say it was shaved.
Yes.
She was just
It's bare.
lazy.
I mean, that's her. That's where I
That's the
started
new
being
style.
like, hold on, I got to
Early
pause this and go
2000s.
masturbate.
Your post nut clarity, so you can finish
Yeah,
your
then I
review.
got to
there.
really.
So yeah, Sandra.
She said it was shaved, but she's lazy.
Sandra's being very shifty because she doesn't want to reveal
And
the
I like how the
refrigerator.
cop's like, did she say it was shaved? Like, intense breathing.
Black to last week's podcast.
But he keeps on using those anchor words, you know, saying like, I'm a police officer. So it kind of like gives that like alertness, and then
I am the law.
submits that you know, like, or and he doubts her too every now and then. He uses
Right.
doubt as one of the little techniques. He's like, am I sensing hesitation? So she doesn't have time to think things through. She has to act now, otherwise,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, can I trust you? Like,
Right.
you're my person on the inside there. But she's been shifty. You know, she doesn't want to contact and order the right things, such as the bacon and the pickles. No bacon is exactly what they have with Officer Daniels, and now they're in the pickle. So
I've never had that problem being a Jew growing up going, fuck, we don't have enough bacon.
sorry, you're missing out.
Another thing.
We just had a bacon sale at work. Dude.
Another thing. I know you rich Omaha guys never probably had to deal with this, but
I was in La Vista.
it doesn't matter. It's all Omaha. But like your phone card running out of money and you freaking out, being like, shit.
What's a phone card?
Like,
I
yeah,
used to have
see,
phone cards.
exactly. Like that moment where he's like, shit, gotta get a new one. You ever had that?
They were more
moment?
expensive
I just used
overseas.
I just
so-
used 10-10-3-2-1.
I don't even know what that is.
fucking, what's his name? Wow, what is it?
1-800 call CALL.
David Arquette. Call 1010 321.
Used to do that after like football practice. It'd be like, you have a call from.
Oh, no.
Practice is over. Come pick me up.
Arquette was 1-800 collect or no, AT&T, right?
I think so.
I thought he also did 1010 321.
I don't know.
1010 321.
Sean White or
1010
Carrot
321.
Top did one of them.
Sean, are they the same
Sean White,
person?
Carrot Top, same person.
One's a snowboarder.
No, they're both redheaded demons.
They don't have souls. In this, in like most every place, if you said you worked a little bit of food service, kind of ish,
Yeah.
whatever.
I
And
made people work food service.
usually, unless you have like, depending on the job, they try to, if you get like a lot of traffic and stuff, you do have to park, like further back so the customers can park closer to the building for their own convenience and stuff like that.
Okay,
So
that
I
works.
imagine this guy who has done this grift a few times, like, I don't know, is he just sniffing panties? And this is kind of what threw me off too, because his first introduction, Officer Daniel's first introduction, he's drinking something from Chickwich or whatever it's called.
Right. He had to go in there and know.
Yes,
'cause
but he
said the
wasn't.
blonde.
He did recon work, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't though. He was. It sounds as though he was recently in the location. I would imagine that he would have because
Oh, that's right. Because the actual call came from Florida in real
Yes,
life,
and
and
he
this
was-
was in Kentucky.
Mount Washington scam on an 18-year-old employee is the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened in April.
The only reason I knew about this movie, real quick, before I forget, is if you want to watch a better version of this, Law and Order did an episode
Robin
with
Williams.
Robin Williams, and it's literally the best guest star in Law and Order history. Like Robin Williams, obviously, you guys. Robin
That one was a little
Williams
bit of
fans.
I don't
Killed
Robin who?
a Williams.
Robin Bill.
Season 9, episode 17.
Robert
Robin Bill.
Watch
Okay.
it.
Billiam.
Rob Bill.
Now there was a few acting issues, I would say, because they did have like a phone issue where the actor of Officer Daniels, Pat Healy, he had to do one of the phone conversations directly offsite, off camera, to Sandra when she was doing her lines. I guess the set of the bedroom where Officer Daniels is supposed to be was just downstairs in this under the set. But yeah, they had a phone issue. Yeah. So I guess they probably just pulled the voice and then added it or changed it. I don't know.
There was a few points where I noticed like the voice wasn't quite synced up to the mouth in a few parts.
What did they say? It's a fucked procedure. That's one of the lines.
I think they relied too much on the shock factor, and they kind of let a lot of the production slip a little bit, which is pretty common.
I felt
with
some of the background
disturbing
music was
films.
too loud, but I think that's part of the making you feel uncomfortable
Yeah, the ambiance
kind
of
of
it all.
situation.
Yeah. Going back to the car situation. So they park further in the back. That way, when they finally do put the panties in the car,
All the clothes.
they can just go back. Oh, yeah. They can go back inside and then it just leaves the car open. So if you are on location, you can just go
You
there.
can also break into their car. Yeah. that's
Yes.
fucking
It's like it's
stupid.
unlocked. It's like, this is not a procedure a cop does. Like, why
No,
would I?
that sounds
And she
like-
questioned him about that, but
Jesus.
he kept on pressing. He's like, "Can't I just give it to you when you get here?" And another thing that I did not. This is
Played
kind
her
of
like a fiddle.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
absolutely.
well. She puts the car in the clothes in the passenger seat, which means she wasn't the capitana of the place. She's riding bitch the whole time. She's not driving this ship.
Oh,
Dude, thank you.
that's what my brain just did.
Now he tries
Connecting the
to
dots.
besmirch Sandra, telling her to shut up and that he can't have someone on his team. She
Yeah, he
says,
told a couple of them to shut up. Like the victim, Becky, in this whole situation. Like,
But-
shut the fuck up, bitch.
but she's still like trying to seek approval some way, somehow. Like she's not really getting the approval from, like she has her assistant who's trying to,
Marty.
trying to give something, but
Marty's work.
You watch your mouth. Marty is the heart of Chicken Witch.
Marty's only gave her the apron.
yes.
That's true.
So bye
Full
bye
apron.
boobies.
You know, we're
I did dig the side boob though. That's pretty hot.
Side and under boob is usually pretty hot. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What's her name? And the actress.
We had
Drama.
under boob and
Drama.
unemployed.
She's
it was mine, but
she's pretty attractive. I try putting yourself in the shoes of Becky. Like if you were at work
I would have just
and
fucking-
you got
Molested.
called, told by like the police are here, you stole something. I mean, she's the only one that I could feel that could believe this whole thing was real because she's really not hearing what the officer's saying to people like Sandra and whatnot. All that's going through your mind is like, what the fuck? Like I'm because I got pulled over in my own driveway because there was a shooting that happened and my car matched the description. It's just like in my mind, I'm like, I know I didn't do it, but that's not how the law works. It's not innocent until proven guilty. It's you're guilty until we prove otherwise.
Right.
And so it's like for her to be sitting there that long of a period of time, like I don't think I would be to the point where like they're saying you got to get naked. I would be like, okay, well, nah,
This is
ain't
ridiculous.
happening.
That's
Like,
not sanitary.
Take me to jail.
but I could see her being younger, maybe more naive. Yeah, I could see maybe falling for like, yeah, we have to do a cavity search on you. But when they say do jumping jacks, like,
Yeah, that's something else.
I don't
It's like
know.
that is a fucked procedure. So at the
There you go, Lonnie.
You did it.
Yeah, I'm.
Good job.
There's also 69 photos for this movie.
Nice.
2 movies in a row we've done that. Does IMDb only have 69?
Yeah, I guess
not
if I was put into her shoes as well, like it doesn't make any sense. I mean, again, like at this time, the actual person was going to school for her medical degree or whatever, trying to be a nurse or something like that.
Louise or whatever her real name is.
Yeah, I think I had her real name, but I didn't really want to. I mean,
You said
all
her
the
I just said her
information.
first name.
Yeah, all the information is like easily
you can
available.
Google, and you can use the Google machine.
But yeah, the whole incident happened in Panama City, Florida, where this Officer Daniels, which I don't even know why they changed his name, but yeah, he called 10 hours away to McDonald's in Mount Washington, Kentucky. And not only that, but Becky wasn't even supposed to be there that day. Just like Dante. Not even supposed to be here today.
It's all making sense.
Shut the fuck up, GoBot.
You know what makes this even worse? So going
What?
back into what? Everybody. Okay, let me try it again. You know what this makes it even worse?
$1.1 million
Why?
from this.
Okay, you guys aren't in
I'm
unison.
doing it.
Thank you. But yeah.
What?
So I believe Donna, aka Sandra, she was fired from McDonald's for violating
Donna
corporate standards.
Summers, by the way.
She was given 1 year probation and she sued McDonald's for them not telling her about the scam calls and was rewarded 1.1 mil.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that she got
They
paid.
bring
out.
that up at the end of the movie too. They're like, you can sue them because they didn't provide you with the proper like awareness of the situation going on.
I didn't realize she won and got that
Yeah.
much money.
They settled because she was going
McDonald's-
after $5 million.
Yeah, most everybody was, who was trying to get some money was trying to, they got way less than what they were supposed to get. McDonald's lawyers, man. So Donna's ex, Walter Nix, or Van in this film, he was supposed to serve 5 years, did 2 in good behavior. The only person to serve time on this, Officer
Which is just mind-boggling.
Daniels, a.k.a. David Stewart, who was a married man with 5 kids. It showed 1 kid, but he has 5 altogether, not just a little girl. Hopefully that doesn't affect your rating, but... But if I recall, I remember seeing like updates on Becky's character. If you are interested, you can find her. She was going to be a pre-med student, most likely due to her PTSD and depression, which put her in a therapy and medicated. It affected her relationships and level of trust. I mean, like, fuck, if you're accused of this and then you have to go through this traumatic experience of like some dude pretty much having his way with you because your boss pretty much put you up to this.
Right.
I mean, she has a hand in it. But like, I feel like she should have gotten, at least did some time because...
Pun intended.
Yeah. Stewart is supposed to face 15 years in prison. Stewart meaning Officer Daniels, Officer Stewart, but he was acquitted of all charges. He didn't get anything because so when they raided his house, they found calling cards in his place and they didn't trace that back. They found cameras where he bought those same calling cards because you can't really track those, but you can sort of track them or
You
so.
can just call
can't
it a
track it
place
at all.
that sold it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
But it sounds as though like the person who plays or the Becky character in this movie pretty much got nothing. You know, like she got some sort of a smaller payout than
She got a small settlement.
yeah.
The person that played the real life Sandra didn't share any of her money with the victim, Becky.
No.
No, because at the end, do you see her interview at the end? That's like a real interview.
Yeah.
She was like,
that was spot on pretty
I
much.
don't think that I think that she's partly responsible for this.
What was it? Who's that one? I think he's like a Hawaiian.
She became a cunt at the end.
The Hawaiian like interview, like was it like on 60 Minutes or something like that?
16 minutes?
He used to do these.
Connie Chung?
The dude, he was like a bigger. He looks Hawaiian or so, but he used to stage
Al
like
Roker?
like what would you do if somebody's harassing somebody who's wearing like a turban and then like thank you, you're the only one who spoke up.
I don't remember that whatsoever.
It's not in this movie. This is it's a very popular guy who used to do like these
I think I remember Samoa Joe in it.
exercises and stuff. But no, the guy was arrested for after 70 scam calls were reported.
This is made like the more I'm hearing about this and like the real life situation, it makes my blood boil.
It does. It kind of does piss you off.
It pisses you off big time. Pisses me off.
But yeah, most of the incidents that happened, I mean, like this is one of the there was at least like I want to say at least 4 of them that kind of went to sexual.
Well, here I found a list of the other ones.
Are they all by the same guy?
They
just
are assumed.
Allegedly.
They are assumed, but you can't trace them back. And some of them are coming from,
yeah.
So here's a list of the ones that happened. So 2 calls reported in 92, one in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, another one in Fallon, Nevada. A McDonald's manager in Lynchfield, Kentucky was convicted on November 30th, 2000 to undressing a customer when the caller persuaded her that the customer was a suspected sex offender and that her serving as bait would permit undercover officers to arrest him when he showed an interest in her. A call to a McDonald's restaurant in Hinesville, Georgia in February 2003, in which a female manager who thought she was speaking with a police officer in the presence of a director of operations for the franchise GWD Management Corporation took a 19-year-old female employee in the women's bathroom and strip searched her and brought in a 55-year-old male employee to perform a body cavity search to uncover hidden drugs. On January 26, 2003, an Applebee's associate manager victimized a waitress after receiving a collect call from someone who prompted to be a regional manager. On June 3rd, 2003, a Taco Bell manager in somewhere in Alaska stripped a 14-year-old female customer and forced her to perform lewd acts at the request of a caller who claimed he was working with the company to investigate drug abuse. July 2003, a 33-year-old Winn-Dixie grocery store manager in Panama City, Florida, received a call instructing him to bring a 19-year-old female cashier who matched a physical description provided by the caller into the office for a strip search. The cashier was forced to disrobe and pose in various positions as part of the search. The incident was ended when another manager entered the office to receive a set of keys. In March 2004, a 17-year-old female at a Taco Bell in Fountain Hills, Arizona near Phoenix was strip searched by a manager, receiving a call from a man claiming to be a police officer.
Yeah, there was a few things in this one that so it starts off in the morning. They're having the issues. Becky goes into the back room. She calls her boyfriend Van to come in, and it's about 3 hours later or so. But by the time Van gets there, it's already dark. It's like, how long have you been there?
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
That, and what really pissed me off too is like Officer Niels. It's like he gets the call and then he drives there from an hour 16 driving to an hour 17. It was 1 minute. The police station was 1 minute away.
Can I just tell you?
Yeah, they said that in the actual movie. They're like, the police station was a minute away. Like,
I thought that was a very beautifully shot scene where he opens the door. The camera's attached to the door of the car, shuts it, and the whole I thought that was.
I thought it was a good
awesome.
idea to include that in the film too, because it's like, this is how dumb you are. The fucking police station is
right down
a mile away.
Yeah, most of those incidents, those scams, were primarily strip searches and some cavity searches. But yeah, this one was really fucked up. It was known as the strip search phone call scam starting back in 1994. It hit a bunch of rural areas that lasted about 9 years. Mostly employees were at the helm of the victimization, and at least one customer had to go through this. But like I said, it's pretty much the same thing. You just sort of employ fear and then reward them and rinse and repeat, reward them with a cooperative response. So like he's playing let's go back. Becky is congratulating Sandra on her engagement. And then, what was that?
Well, nobody asked my dad. You haven't?
Yeah. Just hours before, Becky was congratulating Sandra on her near engagement and then being forced to suck him off from some pervert on a phone. Like,
can you say that again, but slower? Becky
was congratulating. Do you need the Sassy Time music? That doesn't do it. No, let's not do that. This is kind of a serious thing.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Annyeonghaseyo. Yeah, there's the music. Some of the music was really done. I thought it was really well. At least the title.
The music was really done.
Done well. It was well done. The titles were really fitting for this piece. Like, so there's White Dress. It's a symbol of innocence. There's Just Walk Away, the unlucky ones. Lord, I pray you don't turn me away. Tomorrow might be a better day.
The unlucky ones or the stupid ones?
Feels like a hurricane bringing you home.
But how are people going to really know what song was playing at what point? They don't put like
they do
the title of the song when
on
it's
Netflix. You can just hit our Prime or whatever.
Well, this wasn't on Netflix.
Yeah,
Prime. I like Prime because if you pause it, it shows you like every single actor in that scene and stuff.
Yeah, and that's where I was getting most of this from.
Oh,
so he's playing like the bad cop thing, and this is kind of a common thing that cops do. So it makes you sort of cave. So even if you weren't guilty and you're being held in there for so long, and then you're going to just start confessing, and the stories are just kind of coming back. And this is why people confess to like crimes that they did not do, is because he's sort of doing that. And then he's just going to get his jollies off. That is a subject that I think kind of deserves some delving into. So it's typical that people with like traumatizing jobs like nurses or, military, prison guards, police officers, they probably have a higher inclination towards like sexual deviances. So when you're surrounded by certain things that numbs you to negative situations, like you see a dead body or, like somebody caught on fire and their skin is just like flailing off, like you're numb to that. Like that's no longer sensitive, I guess.
Is that why you don't get hard when you see dicks anymore?
I do.
Oh.
I do. No. But yeah, no. So it numbs you to like situations like violence, and you kind of need like a greater stimulation to feel sexually satisfied. And like, so he's not necessarily getting a immediate sexually satisfaction. So I think it's more of like the control that kind of satisfies him. But I mean, like he's got 5 kids, so like you're getting something. Yeah, I would imagine.
I thought about that because it's just like when he's having them, like her get naked and stuff, he's not seeing it.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's not getting off on anything visual. It's the thoughts and like the fact that, like you said, he's in charge and these people are doing what he's telling them to do.
So his regular like vanilla sex or whatever, it just doles, The ice cream machine's broke. Never mind. Vanilla. Never mind.
I get it.
Oh no, we got it.
Okay, thank you. I sometimes I got to spell it out for you.
No, you don't. There's reasons.
I think you like to spell
I just wonder why our neighbors are moving out of their offices.
Why?
The conversations they hear in here.
Oh,
It's only once a month.
And Lonnie scaring them with the doll.
I only did that once.
I also
Okay,
like
twice.
these sort of like colorful girly bracelets that Becky was wearing, because for me it shows like a bit of innocence for her, but like all of that is robbed in the back room right there. So it's
Thanks, Van.
but like, I mean, he felt so bad the entire time. Like at the very end, he had to go to his car, and like this was actual events that happened where he's like, he called his friend back up and he's like, I did a bad thing. He turned himself in. He had no, like he wanted to.
Out of everything that went on, how is somebody that fucking stupid?
He's drunk.
That a police officer is going to tell of suspect to suck this guy's dick. That just, it's that guy. I'm glad he got prison time because he's a fucking idiot.
Even in Becky's part, like I don't.
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah, that too.
I mean, I hate to victim shame, but
yeah, why would you? I don't understand how she didn't sue for that once it was all said and done. Like,
I mean, maybe
like
the only thing I can think of is like she's been there for what 6 hours at this point. It's like she's just trying to get it over with.
She's broken at this point.
Yeah, she's broken, trying to get it.
Or she likes older guys. I don't know.
An old
Van maybe had a big old hammer.
But he didn't bring any of his tools in from the truck, though.
That's true. He left them all in the truck.
No, so IMDb gives this a 6.4 and Rotten Tomatoes an 89%, 60% audience score. We're about this.
We're about the same.
Yeah, 80 score. What would you guys change about this?
The acting.
I would go and watch the Law and Order special instead with Robin Williams.
I didn't think that was
better.
It was okay. I mean,
no, it's better.
It was kind of
season 9, episode 17.
That character was based off him, but he just gave himself away. Like nothing was real.
I just like Robin Williams.
Well, same. And like it was more lighthearted, and he actually was not going to hurt anybody.
And Robin Williams was brilliant in that episode.
It's really hard to change something when it's a true story.
Yeah, a true story.
Yes.
You can't.
And that's what I would change, is that I would actually use the actual names and the locations and stuff. But other than that, I mean, I actually liked much of the acting. Again, Marty was
You
hit
give
or
it a
miss,
10. You wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. If you change anything, it would go to an 11.
No,
if you change anything, I'd change our scale.
I would like to object to that with a nuh-uh.
For one night only, we're going to give this one up to a 15. Son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Whose was that?
Who's got a phone call?
It's the police, and they said, Justin, you need to.
You have to take your pants
suck
off.
my dick.
Oh, damn it. Not again.
Oh, let me get my lip gloss.
Officer Oblivious.
Oh my God.
All right. So Did you guys want to change anything?
No.
All right.
Like they said, you can't really
I'd like
change
to turn a
something that
fan
was
on.
basically word for word. I like to change the fucking common sense of these people.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like that's just America, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Did you guys have any least favorites?
It's hard to have favorites in a movie like this.
Yeah. Like I said, we
No,
already
favorite-
talked
a
about
comment.
we already talked about
Favorite
our favorites.
what?
A least favorite comment. What's your favorite, least favorite comment?
The review.
Yeah.
What?
There were
Reviews
some,
on
there were
IMDb.
some,
You
there were
read
some
a
good
favorite
ones.
comment.
Let me see if I can find the one.
They've been
I
doing
like.
this for weeks or episodes.
Yeah. This is like the 8th
If you ever
time.
fucking showed up to the movie review and
I missed
you would
one.
know what
And
you're
apparently that's when
talking
you
about.
started this because
We've been doing it
we've
for a
never
while.
done this.
we do. How checked out are you at this point?
And this is the first
What?
recording
Because
of the night.
We didn't do it to the Munsters.
Yes,
Yeah, we
we
did.
did.
We did because
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
did.
have anything.
I did.
Me and Justin do this every I think we've done this every episode since The Dead Don't Die,
Not
which
that
was
long,
episode 2.
No way.
give or take.
You guys are full.
I
of
just kind of
shit.
titled it favorite, least favorite. It's probably been like 10 episodes ago or so is when we
Yeah.
made it more regular. But
I like this one. Stupidity at its finest.
yeah, and most of them were in that vein of like, I can't believe people would act
90
like this.
minutes.
I can't
you'll
believe
never
you
get
know.
back. It fails its essential task. Okay, that person's just a pretentious dick.
Oh my God.
Garbage, trash, terrible, irritating. A film about idiots.
It's not funny because it's true.
Don't waste
That's
your
a-
time.
I don't
This
think they
movie's terrible.
implied this
Wow.
movie to be funny at all.
Yeah, I don't think so
Absolute
either.
trash,
And I don't know how
ridiculousness,
much these
terrible,
people actually
stupid,
knew about
pointless, absurd. Oh,
the
dear.
events.
This movie is out of compliance.
This okay. This is actually my least favorite here, or the dumbest script ever. It's literally real life.
Yeah, yeah. There's probably been a little bit of ad lib with like some, talking about their phone cases and boyfriends and stuff. But other than that, I mean,
This movie is just so stupid. Everything about it is idiotic. Everything. But if you want to see Dreama's boobs, here's your chance. If that's what you're wanting, do yourself a favor and skip the rest of the cinematic travesty.
speaking of some of these actors, like Dreama Walker, she's been in like everything.
She has a huge
She's from
IMDb,
the-
yeah.
She's got 100 and
When did she start? Like, was this one of her early films?
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why'd you say it like that? No. I honestly don't even know if I've seen her in anything now that I think about it.
There's a lot of TV shows she's
Yeah,
in.
she's a TV
Yeah.
actor.
I know she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I do know that.
American Dad, Man with a Plan,
She was in a movie called Cocked.
I see that.
That's
She was
Tabby.
Tabby.
The
That
Grim
was a
Sleeper,
TV movie. Oh, she was also in Law and Order.
New Girl, Chlorine, Robot Chicken.
The Good Wife.
So if you keep mentioning cartoons, no one's going to know.
The Bitch in Apartment. Yeah, she was in that one. But yeah, I do. That's the only thing I remember in is the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
American Horror Story too. Okay. Well,
Who wasn't in American Horror Story?
John.
John.
Jean-Luc,
Yes,
you got the next pick.
Juan.
we do. And I had some issues because I tried to pick in something that had availability, and apparently streaming services just aren't going to play movies anymore. Everybody's just playing TV shows.
Right.
But I did. I had one picked out up until 10 minutes ago, and then I found out it's leaving HBO Max on February 1st. Right? But I do have one, and it's actually a new movie. I thought you had seen it, but I wanted to double check. So it's good that you haven't seen it, but I have. But I want to know your guys' take on it. So for my movie review next time, we're going to do 2022's...
I feel like that's on brand. So
Oh my
We got a new one.
Going into the year strong, boys. Going into 2023 with fucking rolls.
2022.
Cocked.
You want me to do that?
do it again while it's
Okay.
fresh.
All right. So for the next movie review, we're gonna do. Hold on, let Jeremy get his giggles out.
It's gonna be a while. Go ahead.
Our movie review for next time will be 2022's The Menu.
Movie's fucking great.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
So we got
maybe
a 10
it was
from
you.
John and a 10 from Lonnie.
No, it's not a
so-
10.
Oh, it's not a 10.
No,
but
it's not a 10. But it's interesting. It's got what's her name, Anna Joy
Anna
Taylor,
Taylor-Joy.
I didn't have to
Yeah.
do the second sound effect then.
and Voldemort.
and it's got the Beast. It's got Beast in it.
The new
Yep,
Beast.
Beast and Voldemort.
Frasier or
No,
The other one.
The other one.
other
one.
What's his name? Nicholas Holt or whatever his name is.
Gotcha. Well,
Judith Light is in it. I didn't even know she was still alive, if I'm honest.
Right?
Like real shit.
It's got it's Gordon Ramsay's origin story.
No, it's a very interesting movie. We'll get into it next month, but yeah, it's on HBO Max.
You'll like it. Rob Yang's in it. Just
Awesome.
So is Hong Chow.
I don't know what you're getting at.
There's Asians in it. And John Leguizamo's in it. He plays a really good character in that.
there's a character named Jeremy in it, so I already like it.
Nice.
I don't see Gordon Ramsay though.
No, it's his origin story. Yeah, this movie's wow, I did not know that Will Ferrell was a producer on that movie.
He does
Well,
a lot
that
of-
explains a lot.
But yeah, I'm interested to get your guys' take on that one. So
It's an A24 movie, right?
what?
A24.
Yes, I believe so.
It's one of the few A24 movies I actually like.
Right?
And every time I say that, I go back through them and I'm like, oh, this was an A24 movie? This one? Oh, fuck, I like more than I thought. But yeah, I'll claim that now until I forget and then realize I like a bunch of them.
Well, I guess that new one that I haven't seen yet, the Everywhere All at Once or whatever, Heredity was on there.
Hereditary is fucking garbage.
Yes, it is.
That's I just wanted to bring that one up.
It's pretty good.
Remember
until
when
the
you
very
guys
end.
argued?
Fuck you!
Remember
It's
you
not
guys?
good.
Remember you guys argued over it being terrible, and you guys yelled at each other about it being terrible,
It
but
is
you were
terrible.
on
It
the
wasn't
same
terrible.
side, and you guys
It
still.
was so
The ending was
terrible.
terrible.
The whole thing, the middle was terrible.
The ending was the best part because I got to leave.
right? So terrible.
Their worst movies, Uncut Gem. I'm just kidding. That's not their worst. but- yeah, that's what I did after the movie.
20.
So what are we just rambling at this point until Justin takes us home? Or?
Yeah, I'm trying to find this sound effect that's not coming on.
I heard
So we
Lady Bird was
are-
good, but I didn't see that.
We are hiring a sound effect person to run our soundboards for our podcast. If you're interested, please contact us.
All right. I got to put this stuff on this stuff, and then we can be good with that. But right on. Thank you guys for checking out the BPTMR 27
Room was good.
Compliance.
I like that movie.
John's
A24.
still going on about that. If you guys have seen this movie or haven't, let us know what you thought, or that if you will actually watch it, like and subscribe.
Or
Thanks
watch
for all
that
the
episode of Law
downloads.
and Order.
That long, we can do it. We already did a movie review of that, sort of an episode review. What we said in this episode is pretty much all that happened, except for he lost his kid, wife. Was it wife and kid?
I think so.
Did he just do different elements of What Dreams May Come? Just
A little bit.
not die? No,
I don't know. I got to rewatch it. I might rewatch it later, actually.
All right,
Okay, ladies.
Anyway, the menu. Let us know.
the menu in a few weeks.
Yep. 2022.
All right,
HBO Max.
have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This concludes our broadcast day.